Morning, everyone. Welcome to our daily financial news, Monday, May 18th. And really can't start a financial news discussion without talking about the headline news, the good news about some early, very early vaccine trials at Moderna. Moderna, we have talked about a couple of times on this channel. They are essentially using data science to kind of combat this virus and others. And early indications are they're having some remarkable success. Again, very early. Good morning, Josh. It's still very early, but when they see 8 for 8 kind of efficacy in the vaccine and the data, these are all encouraging signs. But really what we need to realize, again, at least for this channel, is what does it mean for the consumer, right? So what we are going to be doing here is we're going to be seeing a day of very significant stock gains. That is going to be built really on two things, in my opinion. First and foremost, you can't say any other thing, but this is good news. You can argue, debate, whether or not you individually will get the vaccine or a vaccine if it comes out. That's not where I want to take this discussion. What this is science works. And there will be people that feel better about the future because of this data. And why is that important? Consumers spend when they see the future being brighter than today. If they are scared, they save. That is just the reality. Don't want to get into the arguments of this or that vaccine. Those are individual choices you and you alone make for you and your family. But as an investor, you need to realize that the headline news of this is good, if not great. We all should hope for this phase 1 trial to be successful in phase 2, ultimately in phase 3, and then they can get on to producing 1 billion units a year. That's what we all should hope. Again, very early. This could go sideways over the next several weeks or months, but let's not think that today. This is good news. The second thing that is happening today, if you're not paying attention, is you will have short covering. There will be stocks that were the most beaten down come back, I'll call it extra today. And that is because there are short sellers that will not be able to suffer the pain that this explosive rally, and likely a rally that has multiple days ahead of it because of short selling. So realize what is going on, and this is going to be an interesting time. So cruise lines, banks, hotels, airlines, mall operators, just realize when you see at the end of the day that, I don't know, banks are up 6%, cruise lines are up 8%, realize what happened. It didn't change overnight. What we are seeing is hope, and we are seeing some short covering. So that's just good news. Let's again hope this all works out. The other thing that's important to point out is we are halfway through Q2 as of today. As I shared yesterday on the Sunday briefing, we get a lot of retail information today. So it will be, or this week, excuse me. So it will be interesting to watch Walmart and Target and Home Depot and kind of the winners and losers. So that will be interesting to watch. Jerome Powell kind of has extended his reach to the American people. He is going on various news channels. He has been rather frequent on business channels, but now he's reaching out to more mass media. Again, he is trying to get the American consumer to see what is going on. But and again, he's trying to make people feel better. Jerome Powell's interview yesterday was all about making people feel better. Whether or not it's talking about a fast recovery at the end of the year, this is not a depression, Q2 will be the worst of it. Realize what he is trying to do. He is trying to make the American people, who are the backbone of our economy, feel better. This is all about going from fear to greed. And I just use that because it's a constant frame on this channel is Is the consumer fearful? If so, I'm going to get aggressive because they're my competitor in real estate. Or are they thinking the future is bright and thus I got to get ready to spend more money to buy a house? Other things to think about is oil. If you remember from this channel about a month ago, oil went negative, right? We talked about that, how it went to like negative 32 or $37 and people were renting oil tankers to take delivery. Well, it expires again tomorrow. And there was a lot of talk about, hey, could oil go negative again? I don't see it happening. Last month's contract expiration, frankly, caught people by surprise in the industry, and it reacts so fast. I don't see that happening because I promise you there are some deep pocket folks out there going, I'll buy oil at negative 30 bucks. So we will see what happens. And oil, as of today, at least last I looked, was over $30. 30 is that important number. Actually, I think the exact number is $32. $32 is kind of the break even for kind of the middle operators in the oil patch. So that's an important number to watch. And I will be watching that to see what happens tomorrow. Next up, we got Saudi Arabia putting some big money to work in U.S. companies, Facebook, Boeing, and the like. They are betting on the future. They're betting on the American consumer. So that was interesting. Apple, again, is reopening stores. You're going to see this at a lot of operators. They are going to be taking temperatures, and they're going to be asking folks to wear masks. And again, why? They want people to feel more confident. Again, you can argue, does it work, does it not work, blah, blah, blah. That is not the point. The point is, as a retailer, your job is to make your consumers en masse feel more comfortable. So if that means put up a thermometer thing and check people's temperature and ask them to wear a mask, you are going to do that because you want more people shopping at your stores. So expect that at all operators. Saw Softbank reported some numbers. Q1, Softbank, if you don't know who they are, they're a big operator out of Japan. They unfortunately, their main fund, Vision Fund, saw 18 billion, that is with a B, loss for the quarter. That's hard to do. That's just hard to do. Obviously, WeWork is a big proponent of that. We've talked about it a lot, but also Uber and a company called Oyo, O-Y-O, never heard of it, but took some big losses this week. I don't know if you saw this, but Mark Cuban was out this weekend, I think, maybe it was Friday, talking about, hey, we've kind of tried to, we boosted unemployment. We've tried to help the small business. We need to realize that the PPP program is not working because it's just too hard to operate and money doesn't come fast enough. What Mark Cuban is talking about now is he wants to give every American adult a debit card that is refreshed every 2 weeks with $1,000. But there is a catch. He says the money expires after 10 days. Right? He is trying to get the engine of consumerism going. And I believe that was interviewed on CNBC. I read it in I think it was a Fortune article over the weekend. It might have been a Bloomberg article. But yeah, I believe it was on CNBC first. I did not see that. I read the article. I think that's interesting because again, something we all need to do is we need to agree on the problem we're solving. And right now, again, pre-Moderna release of a vaccine, the largest problem is consumers are not spending, right? We the American people, are saving like never before. Record savings rate. We talked about it last week where most folks have only spent a third, at least, no more than a third of their $1,200, which I was shocked by. So again, these are interesting things to watch. I don't know if it's going to go anywhere, but at least we're talking about a problem that's solvable. I don't like all the hoopla and wavings of arms and just screaming, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. I don't think it is. I think we have a couple of unique problems that if we agreed on what it was, we could fix. I don't see the politicians doing that. Too much red and blue going on for me. So I at least applaud Mark Cuban for trying to talk about what is real. I don't know if you saw this, but Japan officially entered a recession. I think these are numbers that much of the world will see. But Japan was down 7.3% in Q4. And then they just posted Q1 at negative 3.4. So again, the old definition of a recession is two negative quarters. We have since called a recession in the U.S. like we're in it now. It's the first recession that's been declared. We're clearly in one, let's be clear. But usually you need 2 quarters, and it's always a look back. But that's interesting. I think lots and lots of countries are going to report a recession. The question is, does it become a depression? And I don't know where the line is, but it's a long and extended recession. But it is interesting, that Japan's 2 quarters in. We will likely be in one when we hit Q3, because Q1 will be negative and Q2 will be really negative. But will it be 4 quarters? Will it be 6? Will it be 8? I think a lot of it relies on how the consumer feels. Hence, the headline of today, and the stocks are going to be up big, but be careful. Just took a gander, since we're at the halfway point of the quarter. Looks like Home Depot and Chevron are quote unquote the winners. Home Depot, when I saw this morning, was up 32% for the quarter, and Chevron was up just over 30. So I do this on occasion, look at where we are in the quarter and see who's been the big winner, just to see if there's a trend. Home Depot for me is a real estate based one, so that is very interesting to me. People are staying home, and what are they doing? They're painting their house. They're doing little odds and ends in their house. So that makes me feel better. Again, what does it mean for the future? Are they doing these upgrades to stay, meaning they're not going to trade up? Or are they doing the upgrades because they want to sell as soon as this thing is unlocked? That's the big question I have, right? Where does supply come from? All of that. Just something, a thought I had, again, as I was watching the headlines and reading the articles on Moderna, is my first thought was, okay, if you think this is legit, and it's an early bet, to be clear, would I go out and buy a cruise for next summer? So July, August of 2021, right? Because right now all the cruises have sales like I've never seen them before. And I'm on record saying I enjoy cruising. And as of today, even though I could cancel it, I'm not sure that's going to be my first thing I do. So, but I had to ask myself, because again, maybe that means I should look at buying a cruise line stock. They are beaten up. I haven't bought a stock in forever. But that's kind of what I was thinking this morning. So pretty interesting. And then the last thing I wanted to look at this morning, and why we started this daily show just after 7, is Homebuilder Sentiment came out at 7 Pacific. And kind of a good news, bad news story. They were at record lows last month. They are still below 50, and 50 is kind of above 50, it's good, below 50, it's contraction. It's at 37, but it's 7 points off the low. It was expected to be 35, so beat expectations. Again, I think we are trending in the right direction. I would fully expect this home builder sentiment, given what I see going on in the market, even without Moderna, to be above 50 when they report the June numbers. I think May will still be slightly below 50, but I think we've seen the bottom in home builders. I just see a growing trend for Class A tenants in apartments to become buyers. I see millennials becoming buyers, and I see low interest rates. I see record low inventory. This is all set up, in my opinion, for home builders to start feeling better. But they got to build the right inventory, right? We're not talking about $1 million areas in a 300K market. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about affordable housing. So at the median or below, if they can. So that's what I got for you today. That's the daily show. I have 3 interviews lined up today. One is our Monday show, which is with Greg Dickerson. I'm bringing back a past guest who bought a property, I think it was a 4-plex or a duplex, Millennial Mike. That will be at 9 o'clock. And then I have an interview about Vegas data. If you saw a video from me last week or maybe the week before on the importance of watching Vegas, I have this individual coming on to sort of talk about it and see what's going on. So I'm really excited about that today. And I think I will do another live or show or so today because I've got a couple of topics I worked on over the weekend that I just got to get out of my head. So at the end of the day, have fun, take care,